we have been joined by a gentleman that doesn't need any official introduction, but we've been joined by Dale Earnhardt Jr., who will compete in tonight's NASCAR Xfinity Series race. Dale, thanks for spending some time with us today. We know that you technically don't have to be here from a commitment standpoint, but we appreciate you coming in and doing this for us today. Tell us a little bit. Obviously, last year, this race was a lot of fun for you. You could hear it in your voice when you were competing during that race. But how much have you been looking forward to coming back to Bristol here for tonight's race?
Well, I appreciate being asked to come to the media center, and look forward to seeing all the familiar faces. I haven't been getting to many races this year because I turned 50 in October, and me and my wife had planned to try to take advantage of the unique situation where I won't be broadcasting to travel, and we've really taken advantage of that, and it's been great. And we're not done, but I have been looking forward to running this weekend. You know, Bristol is just such a special track, not replicated anywhere. There's nothing like it. And, when I was very, very young, as a son of a driver that ran all the races, you knew you were going to get your fair share of races throughout the year as a kid. And it was like a playground. It was like an amusement park. It was, I wanted to come to the races the same way you as a child might want to go to Six Flags or Busch Gardens, whatever. This was my playground and my amusement park, and I think Bristol was at the top of my list as a really young kid. And they had the comfort coach vans. That's what everybody traveled in. We didn't have bus lots and buses. Everybody stayed in hotels, but we drove these really nice conversion vans back in those days. And if you were lucky, your dad or the crew chief of the team or whatever might park that conversion van down in the grass on the inside of turn 1 and 2. And there was nothing between you and the cars, but about 50 yards of grass and the racetrack. And me and Jimmy Means' son, Brad Means, Doug Williams' son, Scott, Bob Wickham's son, Mike, Heidi Bodine, Brett's daughter, Jason Jarrett, Dale's son. I mean, we all palled around together and climbed on top of those vans to watch practice. Every time there was going to be any track activity, we were most concerned with where were we going to sit and what was the best vantage point. How could we see what we wanted to see? And when practice was over, we'd run around in the pits and beg Barry Dodson or somebody to let us wax their race car. And we had a lot of fun doing that. One time, me and Scott Williams and Brad Means run around and probably waxed about 15 race cars that weekend, and we made little decals that we did our own art on these little white stickum sheets, and Rusty Wallace and a couple of those guys let us put those on the bumper of their cars. And man, we watched. That was the only race at Bristol that we watched in front of a television because we wanted to see if one of those bumper cams might get that sticker in the shot during the race. And I remember sitting on top of the hill in the grass off of turn 2, watching Xfinity races. The cup teams would be done on Saturday or whatever, and go out there and sit on the hill and watch the Xfinity race, and did that a couple times. But just had so many great memories here, and I just really enjoy coming here. Hellman's dictates where we're going to race to a point. They want to work in the Southeast market with their brand and their marketing, and so that kind of limits where we can race. And you've seen us over the last 4 years focus on racing in the Southeast, and that's kind of the reason behind that. But had a great car last year, really, really great car, and no surprise the 88's been fast every time they've taken it to the racetrack, no matter who's driving it this year. So I feel pretty good about the car being good again. It's the same car we ran last year. They took it home, tore it apart, put it back together, and nobody's drove it since then. So hoping it'll drive as good as it did last year, and no pressure in qualifying. Last year we came here and we were one of the 8 or so drivers that could miss the race if something were to go wrong in qualifying, so don't have to worry about that and can just get in the car and practice and see where we need to be on the racetrack and try to get through qualifying and get ready for the race. Should be a fun experience, and hopefully at the end of the day we've ran all the laps. If I just run all the laps, I'm happy. I don't really look at results as much anymore. Happy about a great result for sure, but being they don't, when you only get to go to the ice cream store once a year, you want to eat the whole thing, right? And so I want to run all the laps and see the checkered flag, and I'll be happy about that.
All right, we'll go ahead and go to media for questions. We're going to try to sneak in as many questions as we can in the time that we have. We will start up front here with Bob and then go to Kelly.
Bob Pockris, Fox Sports. In that bucket of ice cream, are you eating it as if you may never eat out of that bucket again?
Well, I'm not planning on racing next year. I'll be foolish to say I'm never going to run again because I don't know well enough to stay away from it, and I'll probably miss it next year and be absolutely willing to sign up to anything that might be beneficial to junior motorsports. I have to remind fans and people that follow us that I run this race and have ran this race over the last several years because of the big benefit that it is to junior motorsports. It's a package deal where Hellman's and Unilever has put their logos on Justin's car, and it's helped feel out that car. And so if it, I don't have a requirement to run next year, so I may just not do it and sort of, and I will miss it terribly, regret that I didn't race, and probably in 2026 find me somewhere that I can go compete in the Xfinity Series again. But right now I don't have any plans, but that's kind of the way I like it. If a partner comes together with a package that helps one of the other cars fill out multiple races that we have some inventory, I'm absolutely on board to doing a race for that reason alone. So I'm not against it at all. Just right now we don't have any responsibility. Hellman's is not requiring me to run that race next year to continue their partnership. So I'm just gonna see how badly I miss it and see. I mean, I figure I only got a handful of these years left to be relatively somewhat competitive, but I'm gonna be fine. I found what I love, to be honest with you, driving that late model stock car. I mean, the things that I'll enjoy tonight are there as well, and I can go some grassroots racetrack and have a good time and enjoy what I love about driving cars just the same. So I'm gonna continue to do that next year as well.